Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to the first official Battlezone review. This week, I'll be reviewing War Inc. Battlezone, a free-to-play third-person shooter by Online Warmongers Group, which is attainable through Steam or the developer's website. If you get the game through the website and decide to play on Steam, it will make you create a separate account, even if you already have one. So I'll be reviewing the Steam version. Enjoy! As soon as you enter the game, you're given some information on the game, its objectives, its currency, how to obtain it, how it works. All of this is displayed in a very easy to read format, and you're not rushed. You read it on your own time, you click next when you're ready. It also gives you a breakdown of what in-game actions earn in-game currency. For example, getting a headshot on an opponent will give you $1 gold, capturing an enemy flag will give you 10. It seems to give you many actions that you would normally do in the game to earn currency. They even throw some different things in, like killing an enemy with his own gun, which gives you $10 gold. They even start off with a decent amount and loan you some gear to get started. Now that gear does expire after 14 days, but during my gameplay I found it was quite better than the gear you start with. Now the game is free to play, but does have microtransactions that enable you to customize your character with weapons, armor, perks, and appearance modifications. The game has two types of currencies, and they give you ways to earn some of both by playing in-game. This is good because it doesn't completely alienate players that don't have a lot of spare cash to throw around. Now the cash store currency is called gold points, and the in-game currency is called gold dollars, which work much like the game money in Call of Duty Black Ops. Both forms of currency are spent in the in-game store. During gameplay, you'll earn a lot of gold dollars, and you can use them to buy almost anything in-game that you can with cash. But of course, not the really good stuff. Now, gold points are what you buy with cash, and there's even ways to earn those in-game, like leveling up, completing difficult missions, and even get gold points when you join a clan. Now, things in the shop cost a lot of gold points, and it might take you a while to accumulate them in-game, so the fastest way to earn them is, of course, buy them with cash. Gold dollars, on the other hand, are pretty easy to get, and you'll usually have quite a bit. After just a few hours of play, I had well over 17,000. Now, you can buy most of the stuff with gold dollars that you can with the gold points, and you can get gear that will put you on almost a level playing field as those spending with gold points. Not quite, but enough to where you can hold your own. Now, the game does have a lot of customization options for your character, from appearance to race, body type, gear, armor, lots of camo, boots, customization options, and so on, weapon customizations, but it even breaks it down to having skill trees for your character, abilities and perks, several loadout slots. Now with the perks, your character can have 3 perks on your character, but there are also a lot of temporary abilities that you can get throughout the game, found from gearboxes. It will give you things like temporary speed boost, mine detection capabilities. There's a lot of options as far as the characters go. Now this isn't your typical first-person shooter, or true first-person shooter as most would call it, considering that a lot of your gameplay, well if not all of your gameplay, takes place in third-person view with an over-the-shoulder camera angle. Even when you zoom in, the camera angle is still over the shoulder. Now veterans of most first-person shooters will be able to dive right in, as the control style closely mimics that of other shooters. Movement is done with W, A, S, and D keys. Pressing shift sprints, spacebar jumps, tab will display scores. Now you fire with the left mouse button, you zoom in with the right, scroll wheel on the mouse will switch between your first and secondary weapons. Now I did find that while the controls were easy to adapt to, they were still not quite as fluid as in many other games. I found aiming the gun to be kind of jerky, which often caused me to pan right past my opponent. Now I'm sure with a lot of tweaking and adjustments to some of the settings, such as mouse sensitivity, and a little practice, it would be easy to compensate for and get used to. Now the combat itself in War Inc. Battlezone can be fast-paced some of the time, but most of your time will be spent getting to the action, as it can be spread out a bit. 1 minute you're charging out of your spawn towards an enemy flag zone and seem to get shot from almost nowhere. The next you're running around for 2 minutes trying to find everyone. I also found it hard to run once you started taking fire. Now that might have something to do with the gear I was wearing, since the gear you can set up on your character has weight to it, which makes you run slower. In most of the games, you start taking fire and act quickly, you can usually get the cover. However, not in this one. The gear you set up on your character is going to be very important. If you want your guy to be heavily armored, you'll run slower. If you want to be quick, you'll have lighter armor, or maybe even a good hybrid between the two. So it does give you a lot of options as far as character customization and playstyles, which is very unique. Now snipers, on the other hand, were very annoying, considering that there was no bullet sound from them hitting you or the ground around you. You'd be standing there 1 minute or running and your character just falls over dead and you have the death screen. Now the graphics and animation aren't that bad, and there's also this neat little speed distortion effect when you run, very similar to the run effect in Gears of War. Shadows, water, and other environmental graphics were better than I expected. It's not as good as a lot of the other games that are out now, but to be a completely free-to-play game, they impressed me. I expected them to be a lot worse. Sounds, on the other hand, however, could have been better. Most of the guns do not sound right when they're being fired, including one automatic weapon that sounds like a rapid succession of annoying clicks. Shotguns don't really sound like shotguns, but more like handguns. And throughout gameplay, sometimes I would hear an annoying random beep and click that I couldn't tell where it was coming from or what it was for, which is very distracting. Music in the game wasn't really too bad, but at times I did feel it could be a little overbearing and louder than it should be. All in all, the game will feel like the developers took parts from existing shooters and added them to this one. Usually, I'm not a big fan of cash shops, but the fact that they give you two types of currency, both which are obtainable in-game, makes it not so bad. Your casual, hardcore, and cash payers will have the ability of getting decent upgrades, but I will warn you, your gameplay is heavily dependent on your character's equipment as well as skill. If you're too heavy, you can't run away or be an effective sniper. If you're not armored enough, you'll die in just a few hits. If you don't have decent weapons, it can put you at a disadvantage, but the difference isn't really extremely bad. I was able to fight well enough with the starter gun that I chose, although I did notice by picking up a better weapon, I did find it significantly easier to get kills. Wearing heavy armor in this game actually allows you to take a good amount of hits, more so than other games. But of course, running makes you feel like you're carrying bricks in your pack. There are three different game modes: the usual team deathmatch, conquest, and siege. Deathmatch, of course, doesn't need much explanation. It's one team versus the other, and the team with the most kills when the time limit is up is the winner. Respawn points, of course, are random. Now, Conquest and Siege are captured or flagged style matches, but they do have differences. Conquest has no time limit, and when you die, you respawn at your original spawn point and have to run back to your team and the combat zone. Siege has a time limit, and it's set up with one team defending and one team attacking, the capture zones. When a player dies in Siege, they respawn back at the main control points that you have at the beginning of the game. Also, when you join a game, you're given a warning if you're about to enter a server with a lot of high-level players. And I found this rather challenging, as most of those players would have better gear, more experience. I usually chose those. I found it a lot more fun. Now, the game does boast that your character will be an MMO-like persistent character with skill trees, perks, and fully customizable appearance and weapons. Now, while this is true, I won't go as far as saying you can customize your character as much as you can in most MMOs, but I will say you get to customize it more than you usually can in most first-person and third-person shooters. Even with the few minor annoyances and the not-so-smooth aiming, strange clicks and sounds, and the annoying snipers, I still found the game enjoyable, and that's what games are all about, having fun. Now, it's no Call of Duty or Battlefield by any means, but for a free-to-play game, it's very good and definitely worth checking out. For those that don't have any of the more popular first or third-person shooter games, or just want to try something different, this would be a great game to pick up, and it's free. You may not get your first-person shooter fix, considering it's all done in third person, but the game is fun, free, and doesn't take a high-powered computer system to run. Now for the pros and cons of War Inc. Battlezone. The cons. Now, the sounds definitely need some work. A lot of the sounds didn't match up to the guns and some other items in the game. Snipers, of course, very annoying, and they were a bit overpowered and in need of balancing. And the rough aiming. Other than that, not too many cons for this game. Pros are smooth gameplay, customization options for several playstyles, decent graphics, easily adaptable controls, both cash shop and in-game currency obtainable in-game, plentiful amounts of the in-game currency that can buy decent weapons and armor with, which is good considering your items are rented. It's fun, and it's free to play. So all in all, I'm going to have to give this game an 8 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out. want to thank everyone for watching this review. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we'll be uploading a lot more reviews soon. Also, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegamerzone. So hang around for a bit if you like. We'll leave you with a little bit of game footage. Enjoy.